Welcome back to Unfiltered Kitchen. I'm Cheyenne, and I'm here with... Oh my gosh.
Got stuck. I'm sorry.
Guys, I gave him headphones so that he can hear himself.
Yeah, they say I need to be a more studious podcaster, that I do things like...
He taps on the table, as some of you guys have complained about.
I do things like this and don't talk in the mic. So.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So we're going to try this headphone thing, but now he's acting like a child, and he's like, I can hear myself breathe. I'm like, when they listen, they can hear you breathe also.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be... Okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. How to do this.
Now,
You know, there was a couple episodes I watched, and I was not very happy with my enunciation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I had a slurry mouth or
Mm.
something. It wasn't clear.
Cotton
Now
mouth?
this isn't clear. No, I didn't have cotton mouth. Just wasn't saying my words.
Are you going to work on that?
I'm going to work on that. I want people to understand what I'm saying.
That would be nice.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Oh, no. The last time you asked me a question, I got in trouble for it.
No, this is not that kind. This is easier. Okay, so I'm going to say some things, and you tell me what you think they are.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is...
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. No, it's just... It's generational.
Okay, go.
Okay? A Pinto.
A car.
A Vega.
A Vega? I don't know what that is.
A Firebird.
A car?
A Pontiac.
A car?
An Impala.
A car?
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, I didn't think you'd get them.
What's a Vega?
Vega's a car too.
I never heard of that one.
But you got the Pinto.
I heard a Pinto car, like a Pinto bean car. I heard that
Yeah,
one.
you knew that one?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, I'll try another one next week.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
I was trying to think about something that's generational that I would know that maybe you wouldn't know.
How about a fax machine?
Okay, do you remember that one time? Were you with me and I was using the fax machine at the convention center and
And what?
I think it was Mom.
You didn't know how to use it?
It's not that I didn't know how to use it.
You didn't know what it was.
I knew what it was. I knew. I wish Mom was here.
What, you think it was a teleprompter? Like it just zoomed everything over somewhere?
Can I use your phone?
Okay.
Is she going to answer your call?
Who?
Margaret.
Oh, I don't know.
Come
Yeah,
on.
yes, she could. She should.
Let's find out. What's her name in your phone?
The bad guys are coming.
The bad guys are coming?
Yeah.
Is that her?
There you go, right there.
Why did it pop up, though? Come on, Mom, answer the phone. It is 7 o'clock.
She's going to answer what? She's going to be like, hey, baby.
I would be like, plot twist.
Yeah, it would be a trick.
Hello, you reached Margaret.
Damn, she hung up on us. I'm about to text her. Answer the phone.
Well, say
The
it.
phone,
It's me,
Chey.
Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said, get my text right because I don't be putting that in my shit. Dang, Margaret, you hung up on us with the quickness.
Quickness.
Right.
Push that button.
Rude.
Hey, you know, I should have a sponsorship to promote.
Hello?
Mom. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time I used the fax machine at the convention center?
Yes.
Can
What?
you tell us what happened?
What?
Tell us what happened.
You thought, I don't know. What'd you tell me? I don't remember, Sean.
Come on, she thought.
Come on.
What'd you think?
So I put the
Forgot.
paper in, and Mom was like, "You know, dial the number."
Oh,
and I
you thought
dialed
the paper.
number, and then I'm like, "The paper's still here."
Oh,
Yes.
you
it was
thought the
a goal
paper
or
would.
something
Yeah.
crazy.
And she said, "Do you think they're gonna get that piece of paper?"
Yeah.
You're not putting this on the podcast, are you?
Yeah, you're on the podcast right now. Want to say hi to everybody?
No.
Bye, Margaret.
Later,
Love
Sam.
you. Mom sat there and was like, "Why are you standing there like that? Why do you look so
So
confused?"
you thought the paper was going to magically end up in New York?
I did. I did. I thought somehow that same piece of paper was going to go through the machine to the other machine.
Did I ever tell you guys the story about how she used to ride the short bus to school? Have her red hat on.
I swear I sat there and I was like, it's not working. It didn't work.
Well, a lot of people don't know what a fax machine is, though.
At least I know what it is now.
Yeah.
I got a rude introduction as to what it is.
Okay, where are we going to start this week? We got a lot to unpack.
We do.
There's a lot of things that came back from the last couple podcasts.
Yeah.
But, that's nice. The first thing
is I put up after our episode aired about do you have a relationship with your shower head, I got blown up with people and the responses and DMs of just like their opinion on my dad and I having certain conversations. So I put up a Q&A and I asked on there, what is off limits? Like, what's off limits with your dad? What's off limits with your parents? And I realized that a lot of things are off limits. And I'm just not.
No, you weren't raised like that.
I wasn't raised like that. So it's a little harder for me to understand like some of the things like we got the traditional answers like sex is off limits. Sex toys, shower head talks is off limits. But then there were other things that someone said, like childhood trauma is off limits. Like
childhood trauma.
I would never talk to my dad about his childhood trauma. And I'm just thinking, that to me, that's so strange where like I never thought about it. But I'm like, why not? Like if you know that it's there and it's clearly a conversation, like why wouldn't you bring that up in the right setting, in the right place? But there were some answers. Like I wouldn't, that someone said like fights or like girlfriend, boyfriend fights. I wouldn't share that with my parents. One, like if I was in trouble, I wouldn't call my parents. Like things that I'm like, dang, like no offense, but like if I got arrested.
That should be the first one you put.
I'm calling my dad. Yeah. I'm going to say help. Come get me.
Well, there's two things that seem odd to me on that. Is people always say that they want a good relationship with their parents or with their children, but then they have limits to
what is acceptable.
Yeah, what can you talk about, what you can't talk about?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't.
I had some people going as far as saying that it was disrespectful to have that talk with you.
You mean the shower thing?
The shower head thing. It was deemed disrespectful. It was gross, disrespectful. I would shave my head before I would talk to my dad about that. And I would just say, like, I understand some people thinking, like, oh, it's gross if, like, you don't have that relationship with your parents and you don't have an open, like, an open dialogue or whatever, then I get it. That's your perception. But going as far as saying, like, it's disrespectful, I can't agree on. And I'm not shaving my head for anybody, so...
I guess if your father is, the first minister of which person of something church, then maybe you can't have those conversations. But I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just in fun. Come on,
Yeah.
The whole shower was it? To me, it was funny.
Right.
I'm in the shower one day and I thought about it. This is.
Don't go back to the shower.
We won't go back to it.
We already got in trouble.
Right. So anyway, you know what? Don't be that. Everybody do your own thing. Talk about what you want to talk about. Don't talk what you want. Don't talk about what you don't want to talk about. But don't be wound so tight. Okay.
Yeah, I saw a lady comment back to someone who like went on a rant to me about like I basically saying like I really thought that you were perfect. Like I watched the show, I saw your family, and I just thought everything was so perfect, and I envied your life and I envied your lifestyle, I envied your family. But then I watched this and I realized like you're just as fucked up and weird as the rest of us. Hey. And I thought it was hilarious. I liked the comments so much. I was like, hell yeah, I am. And another girl commented back and was like, you just gave her like the oddest backhanded compliment. Get your fucking panties out your ass. And I was like, ooh, I like you too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, get your panties out of the bunch. And actually, the first girl was right. They really are perfect. I'm just the bad influence.
Oh, I think everybody knows we're far from perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believe me, that was another joke. They're not perfect. Sheesh.
So I say all that to say that I would like to circle back to things that both my parents have put into my sister and I early on, adulthood, teenager, like growing up, things that we knew. And these are certain things that I want to take over into me being a parent. A lot of times people are like, what are things that you're going to do that your parents did? Or what are things that you wouldn't do that your parents did to you? And you learn that, as you go. I'm sure there's things that Papa did that you were like, okay, I want to do this with my girls or whatever. And then there's things that you're like, I'm probably not going to do that. Right. One of the things that my parents did growing up with us that is something that I want to instill in Ryder and Ace is that you can call me in any situation, no matter what. I will come get you, no questions asked. And I will say I've had to do that. And I can remember each time I've done it. And I remember 3 times that I did it. And it was definitely situations where I'm sitting there like, I got to get out of here. And if my mom knew I was here, I would probably be in trouble. But I'd be in more trouble if I stayed here and didn't call to get help, to get out. And I would get out, and then I would get in the car, and I would blab. I would tell everything because I'm like, you need to know what the situation I was just in.
And the way we used, I know we used to set it up like this, or at least this way I would set it up. If you're going out, and this when they're in their teenage, their young teenage, mid-teenage, where, there's a lot of things that could happen. So I used to say, if you go out and, first of all, you shouldn't be drinking, you're too young. But if you get out there and you start drinking or doing whatever you guys are doing these days, and this was the days when it was stuff like Super K and ecstasy, all that stuff was coming onto the scene.
Yeah.
So I know it's easy to get caught up in, what is it called? Peer pressure. So I always said, look, if something happens and you get caught up and you're a little loopy, just call. We'll come get you. I'm not tripping. I'd rather have you home safe. Don't worry about the consequences. This is safety first. Let's get you home. So if you're out and if you're with a crew of people and somebody's too drunk to drive and you don't want to get in the car, don't get in the car. Okay, if they're not listening, if they're not being sensible, you be sensible. Don't get in the car with a drunk person. Just call us. We'll come get you.
Yeah.
This is before the days of Uber and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely before Uber. And there was one time in high school I went out with one of my friends. And I don't remember what we were doing, where we went, but it was definitely not where we told my mom we were going. And we ended up in an alley. And I remember being in this alley and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. And she was determined.
Okay, what do you mean in an alley?
We were in an alley.
Was it a party alley?
Actual alley. It wasn't a party.
How'd you end up in an alley?
She wanted to meet up with this guy.
Who is she?
I went to school with her.
Oh, you can't say her name?
No, but the guy's name, I remember his name was like Mutter. I think he passed away, actually. So rest in peace. But she wanted to meet up with him. And she wanted me to come. And I was, I'm coming, whatever. So I came, but then I realized, like, at one point, I'm like, we're in an alley, like an actual alley.
Yeah.
Brick walls, dumpster. Yeah. We're in this alley. I got to get out of this alley. And I call my mom. I'm like, come get me. And if you know me, I am directionally challenged.
Yeah, she don't know where she is.
I don't know where I'm at. And this is back when it wasn't like you can drop a pin where you have maps on your phone. It's like my mom is like, describe the alley to me. And I would say I've been in 2 situations like that, and somehow she has found me. One was that time in the alley, and the biggest one when I was in Virginia. It was my freshman year of college, and I went to Hampton University. It wasn't even like school had started. It was like before school had started, and you go for like those first 2 weeks to get like orientated or whatever. With Hampton back then when I went, and this was 10 years ago. Yeah, because next year's my 10 year. So a while ago, everybody would like, not everybody, but you would go on Facebook before when you got accepted, and everyone like find each other on Facebook and talk on Facebook or whatever. So I found this guy on Facebook. I thought he was really cute. Played football. He was nice. We started chatting on Facebook, and we chatted like for the whole time, like for a few months until like we got to school. And then he was like, "Oh, like it's orientation. Come with me to this party." I met him on campus before the party. He was really nice. He's like, "I'm going to this party tonight. Do you want to come?" And I was like, kind of like, okay, because I felt like we had talked for so long.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew him. He was nice in person. We're going to be in class together. Like, it seemed like a safe thing. Like, this is someone who I now know his dorm. Like, all these things. So I asked my mom, like, what do you think? And my mom was there with me because it was orientation. I think you were there. No,
I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
I remember this story.
And it was like something like that. Like, I didn't feel like it was weird. I felt like I'm making friends. Like, I'm being open. I'm in college now. You know, I'm like a halfway adult, even though I was like 17. And I told my mom I'm going to go. And she's like, yeah, go. Like, you know, it seemed like a good idea at the time. So he sends me the address. I go. And it was like apartments. And I always heard like there's all these apartment parties. Something, okay, it's an apartment party. And I go. And it's me and him at first. And then he's like, oh, it's my cousin's apartment. He's on the football team too. And the party's going to start soon. Then I saw like more people trickling in. And I'm realizing I'm in a room surrounded by a bunch of guys. And I'm the only girl. I got to get out of here. It was, when I tell you, they came in packs. Like in packs. And back then, I wasn't even 100 pounds yet. I was like barely under 100 pounds. I was probably in an Urban Outfitters skater skirt and some kids. Like, and naive as fuck, just to be honest. Yeah. Naive as hell. And just sitting around. But at one point I looked and I was like, oh, I'm in a Lifetime movie. And that's one thing that growing up, my mom we would watch Lifetime on Sundays, Lifetime movie marathons. And I swear that's how she taught certain lessons about, like, don't put your drink down, someone can roofie you and all these things. And I looked around and I said, I'm the girl in Lifetime movie. So I asked the guy, I said, hey, can I use your bathroom? And I played it cool and I got in the bathroom. And I called my mom and she was staying at a hotel a few blocks up. And I'm like, you got to find me.
This is an amazing story.
You have to find me. She's like, Chey, where are you? I'm like, I don't know. But I went over a bridge and I saw a big tree. And there's a room full of guys. There's at least 20 to 30 guys outside this door. And they started banging on the bathroom door. They started knocking on the bathroom door. Are you okay? Okay. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I'm trying not to show them that I know that I'm freaked out. And I don't know if they were going to do anything or not. But the setting was just it was too much for me. And especially when they started knocking on the door, then I was like, I got to get out of here. So I'm just like freaking out on the phone. My mom is in her rollers. She went downstairs to the hotel lobby and she put me on speaker and she's like, Chey, explain it. Where are you? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I went over a really small bridge and I saw a really big tree and I met this apartment that faces another apartment and the lady like drew a map for my mom.
So the lady in the lobby.
The lady in the lobby worked there.
Knew the neighborhood.
Understood the neighborhood. Yes. Understood the small bridge. Understood the big tree. Right. Understood the apartment that faced the other apartment. And drew a map for my mom because we had a rental car. And my mom got in the car and somehow found me in like minutes. I don't know how. And she's always to this day like, I don't know how I found you. I don't know how you, like, it just worked out. And I opened the bathroom door and I told him, oh, I'm going to go downstairs and grab my friend. And I ran. And the thing is, he never spoke to me. On campus, we saw each other.
Really?
Never spoke to me. It was like he knew I knew. I knew. And we left it at that. It was the oddest thing, but it goes back to say, I could have been like, dang, I'm not going to call my mom because I probably know I shouldn't be in this situation, but I got to get out of this situation. Right. I want Ryder and Ace to have that same willingness to understand, like, yeah, I may have done wrong being here, may have done wrong, may I have gotten in the car, maybe I said I was going to so-and-so's house and now I'm at this house, but I know I shouldn't be at this house and it's turned out bad. I want them to understand they can call me and say, come get me, rather than sitting in it and it getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Right. And that's what we wanted you guys to understand.
Yeah.
You're going to get into the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I've had plenty of friends who have seen it firsthand, who have gotten into sticky stuff and go, can I call your mom? Can I call your dad? Because I can't call my people. Can I call yours?
So, like, you guys, okay, this parent-child relationship, you can put all these layers on it if you want. Layers of respect, disrespect, talk about this, don't talk about that. But you're pigeonholing yourself. You're limiting your relationship. Where there's nothing under the sun that's new. She's not going to say anything to me that I haven't heard before. I'm just having to hear it from my daughter. Well, my daughter's a real person. It's like real life. So no big deal.
So if I came to you and told you that Zach and I were having issues in bed,
yeah,
are you going to sit and listen? Look at the stress in his face.
No. Let me I'll explain the stress.
Look at the stress.
I'll explain the stress.
What if I'm doing like that? I need advice.
Okay, well, no, I'd listen. No, I'd be able to.
You'd listen in pain.
No, I wouldn't listen in pain. Initially when you first hear something, may catch you back a little bit. But, no. Because again, there ain't nothing that, whatever you and Zach are going through is nothing new under the sun.
You heard your hands? Your hands.
I heard my hands. Headphones.
Just an example. Guys, trust me, if Zach and I have problems in bed, no offense, but my dad is not the first person.
I'm not the one.
I'm running to for that.
Yeah, I'm not the one. I'm not the sexual genie.
No, clearly not. You're over there having a relationship with your shower head.
Hey man, look, I'm telling you. Don't like it when you don't try it. Okay, we need to leave the shower alone. I got in trouble about the shower head. I was like,
you did?
I was like, really?
T is listening.
Oh,
hey, TT. Hey, girl, hey. What is something that you think that your parents taught you that you were like, I'm going to do that when I have my kids?
Biggest thing my parents taught me, particularly my mom, was just be independent. She taught me from an early age, be independent. That's why I've always pushed it on you guys. Be independent. Should something happen to me and your mom and we not around, you got to still be able to handle your business. But I mean, she taught me little things like, I ever tell you the story about Pink's in line at Pink's?
Like the hot dog place?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, so Pink's. Okay, out here in California, there's a place called Pink's Hot Dogs. Pink's is 24 hours. It's been there. It's on La Brea, which is a big street.
It's like a staple.
Yeah, it's been there as long as I can remember. Okay? There's always a line at Pink's. Always a line. I was maybe, I don't know how old I was to tell the truth. Maybe 5, 6. And she pulled up and had me get out and go get in line. Now, I'm this little guy. Everybody else is way taller than me. She gave me money. Told me what to order. I go and get in line. And evidently, somebody got in front of me. Played me like I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. She got out of the line, out of her car. Or maybe she beckoned me over to the window. I don't remember exactly. But she was like, she instilled in me, no, this is your place in line. Okay? You have just as much right to be in line as anybody else. And you are behind that person. And nobody has the right to get in front of you. And when you get up there to make your order, make sure they hear you and see you. And don't let yourself be passed over. And I was, again, I just remember I was real young. Yeah. But that was, and when it happened, it didn't go well at first, but then she said something, she told me what to do, and She might have got out and looked at somebody like, why you bypassing my son or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I knew, I got the message. Yeah. And that was my first lesson in independence. Make sure you're not invisible in line and So that's why I always try to push you guys to be independent. That's why a lot of times when I can do it and you can do it, I still let you do it.
I like that. I like that story.
Yeah. I've always remembered that story.
I like that.
Yeah. And you got to understand, Pinks is a like I said, it's always a line at Pinks.
It's always packed.
And it's not an easy line. It's like everybody's trying to get to the front, trying to find a way.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's
a cute line.
Yeah, it's not a cute line.
It's not a cute line.
Okay. So.
I like that. And I feel like when I think about that, I think about like when we do go out to eat and when Ryder's at the age now where I'm like, order for yourself, make eye contact, order your food.
Yeah.
You know, say please, say thank you, and address the person who's asking you.
Right.
And I feel like she's kind of at that age now where on a good day she takes pride in it. But, you know, on her days where she's moody or whatever, she's tired, you know, and they do the squirm. I'm like, no, you want to eat, order your food. And I feel like that's something that you and Mom did with us is like,
learn to speak.
Learn to speak. Like, find your voice now.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that
so Ryder, you guys had really done well with Ryder. When she did the fashion show in New York this past summer.
Yep.
That walk, that walk, that's all straight confidence.
Yep.
Okay. That's straight confidence. You know, a lot of kids,
No, I would say Ryder's one I don't worry about.
Yeah. Yeah.
She handles herself very well.
Yeah.
We just did a parent conferences this week. Zach and I went. Corey was out of town, so he missed this one. But I will say, last one, it was Corey, me in the middle, Zach on the side. I was like, this is a little awkward. But anyway, we're all in the little chairs, in the little pre-K chairs.
Oh, you really?
Yes. I'm like, I'm squished between these two big Negroes. But okay, anyway. Yeah. So we had parent conferences this week, and Zach and I went. We're back in the little chairs. And, you know, I always go in ready to hear about my kid. Right. And I asked right before I left, I said, what's your teacher about to tell me? She goes, I don't know, but I'm nervous. I'm so nervous, Mom. And I was like, what? What am I about to go up to this school to hear? And Ryder was like, I'm telling you, I'm nervous. So I walked in nervous because she was nervous. And
I don't even think I knew what nervous meant at 6 years old.
And I'm just thinking, what is this teacher about to tell me? Because my kid is walking around the house squirming right now. And she was like, Ryder's a joy. She talked about how confident Ryder is, how Ryder advocates for herself, advocates for her friends, which is something that she had to work on from last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, she didn't really know her voice yet in that school setting. So she's clearly found her voice.
Right.
And all her teachers, every report that they wrote, they just raved about her ability to find the kid in the room that doesn't have the friend. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
They said that the thing is, okay, she's in a homeroom, but then they branch off to go do computer science or to go do Spanish, to go do yoga, to go do all the little side classes or whatever. Mm-hmm. So those are all with different teachers. So every teacher wrote their report about Rye. And I really liked to hear how if there's a kid that doesn't have a friend or doesn't have the partner, Ryder's the one who's willing to give up her friend group to go join nice. that one. And I always think that's just a good quality, and one that I feel like you can teach, but it's hard to teach to a kid when you're not sure if they're understanding the concept. You know what I mean? I always tell Rye, like, if there's somebody there who's sitting there at lunch by themselves, invite them to your table or go sit at the table with them or ask them if they want to play. And sometimes I don't know if that's being heard. Because it's easy for Rye to want to stick with her buddies.
Right.
And it's more uncomfortable to tell your buddies, I'm going to go play with Sarah over here who doesn't have a friend. Yeah. So I really liked hearing that she does do that. And
I'd say congratulations to you.
Yeah, she's a good kid.
Your voice is getting through too.
Yeah, I like it.
She's hearing you.
Yeah. So I really liked it.
I was never that kid.
And I wasn't either.
I was a bully.
Okay, I wasn't a bully. I was probably the kid sitting by themselves because I rode the short bus to school that day.
I was an actual bully. And
Were you
I
really?
feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad too.
Is there anybody that you truly bullied that if you saw or had the chance to this day to sit down and apologize to, is there someone that you think of like that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's two people. One was a brother and sister.
You bully a girl?
They were brother and sister. They were twins.
I'm not laughing. But that doesn't make it okay. You said it like, yeah. They're brother and sister. They're together. What did you expect? Why were you bullying them?
Because I was a knothead. I didn't, who knows?
So what would you tell them today?
Oh, I would just apologize profusely.
That
Eventually
bad?
what happened is it got so bad that their big sister came up.
Did she beat you up?
She didn't beat me up, but she told me.
She was going to beat you up.
Yeah, she told me, like, be cool, chill out. I mean, she didn't use those words.
Yeah.
I was probably like I don't know. Okay. So I was really young. The sister, but and then I stopped. And then, I never meant with them anything bad. I was just,
young, dumb, and...
Yeah, curious.
So what would you tell him?
And then there was another guy who was really a bully. His name was Billy. We called him Billy Big Non. Billy was bigger than all of us. Mm-hmm. But Billy, he didn't fight back. But one day he socked me back, though.
Good.
Yeah, he socked me. And I don't mess with Billy anymore. I actually had a whole new respect for him.
Because he hit you.
Because he hit me back. Yeah, hit me back. Cracked me straight. Billy was big. I mean, look, I'm down here. But, but Billy didn't fight. One day, I guess Billy got sick of it.
That's what you get.
Bump back my chest.
You said, ow.
Well, I didn't let him know right then it hurt. But, next year, the days after that, I was like, Billy, come on, hang out with us. Come on, hang out with us.
So if you saw the twins.
Oh, I apologize profusely. I can't even tell you what I was doing.
It was bad.
It was foul. I mean, I was a little kid. I didn't know. But, and with Billy, I was, it was Billy up every day.
Wow. Well, Billy, if you ever see this.
Billy would probably knock my block off if he saw me.
Don't beat him up if you see him.
Billy probably ended up being 6'5" or 6'6". I mean, he was a big kid then. Sure, he kept growing.
I don't ever see Ryder being a bully. I don't. Because I feel like if she was going to be a bully, the tendencies would come out now.
Actually, I can only remember bullying those couple people.
That still makes you a bully.
That's still a bully.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I stopped is when he socked me. He socked me back. I was like, so, look, any of you parents that have kids out there that are being bullied and you want to take this over the top, don't fight them back, you're telling them the wrong thing. Tell them to fight them back. Tell them to crack them in the head. Tell them to pick up a brick and crack them in the head.
Don't tell them.
Okay? I bet the bully don't bother them anymore. You want to play psychosomatics or whatever that,
Gentle parenting.
Yeah, gentle parenting. Better get this kid some boxing lessons. One good sock. I mean, I'll tell you a chance. I'll tell you another story. Guy was bullying me. Mm-hmm. You grew up with these guys. They were twins, both big. One's named Bear, the other's named Spook.
Wait, what? You're lying.
I'm not lying.
Swear on something.
Swear. Come on, I grew up with them.
Bear and Spook?
Bear and Spook.
Dad.
That's not their real name. They birthed that name.
I was like, what mom sat in the hospital and said, okay, Spook.
No, Gerald and Daryl. Okay, Gerald and Daryl.
Well, Gerald and Daryl isn't much better.
Gerald, big as a bear.
And they're bullying you.
Well, okay, so this is back in, I'm like fifth, sixth grade. Mm-hmm. So some of the other cats in the neighborhood already knew him. I didn't know him. I'd been in that neighborhood since I was like in the second grade.
Okay.
I wasn't no punk. I wasn't king of the school, but I wasn't no punk. So for some reason, Spook had an issue with me. I don't know what his issue was, but he always, we was hanging around the same people now, and everybody was, Spook and Bear were a terror. It's probably did juvie or whatever. I don't know what they. But Spook's been messing with me for a couple of weeks, and then one day in class, he said something, did something, pushed me something out, and I cracked him straight in his nose. Shaka! He looked, he was so surprised. And then we fought after that. When me and Spook ended up being best friends.
What?
Well, I'm just saying, he was a bully, crack him in the head, and they got respect for you. That's what happened with Billy. I used to beat Billy up. Billy cracked me, chill. I'm like, Billy, you all right.
But sit at the table with me.
Yeah. I mean, so I be teaching all this gentle kindness.
I would say Ryder dealt with bullying last year, and I didn't tell her to hit him, but I did tell her that she had to learn to advocate for herself.
I told her to hit him.
Okay.
When you guys went around, I said, kick her in the shin.
Oh my God.
Kick her hard.
The last thing I need is for Ryder School to call me and say, Mrs. Davis,
Your child
your
drew blood.
child had another child
All
and
right,
said that she learned that at home. No, but you know who I'm going to have to worry about?
Ace?
Yes.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Ace, when you say hi to him, he goes, gang, gang. And I'm like, oh. He was doing that at right at school the other day. And then the teacher goes, is he going to go here?
We're going to try.
We're going to try.
We're going to try.
We're going to sure try. All right. So there was a few things that people sent in as responses to our conversation from last week.
This was a long intro we did this week.
I mean, we had a lot to say. I missed you. I kind of wanted to talk.
Okay. All right, cool. So the one thing when we were talking about the young lady who is actually the stepmother of this son.
Yeah.
And the real mother is trying to come into the picture. And we both interpreted it the same way.
Yeah, we did.
But the readers or the listeners interpreted it different. And I think we've both come to agree with their interpretation.
Yeah. I went back and read it and I was like, oh, we definitely read that wrong.
Yeah. When she said,
yeah,
and he's got me.
We read it wrong.
We were both looking like the husband has got me.
Yes.
But it was pointed out that no, he being the son. So thank you for that.
We take that.
Yes.
See, I wasn't the only one on the short bus. He was too.
Yeah, I was.
But it still doesn't change what I have to say.
Well, just to take that, because I took that and kind of hinged part of my argument on that, thinking that was a little bit of envy, jealousy. But clearly, I liked your answer on that. I think
I still stand by what I said.
Yeah.
With that or not.
Yeah.
So there was another young lady who we talked about who was talking about she was estranged from her dad, didn't have a good relationship with her mom, and she was asking ways to fix that. Also, she mentioned domestic violence and
mental and physical.
Yeah, and dad was stuck on what domestic is to her.
Right. Well, let me say something first.
Okay.
I was thinking about this. Actually, every once in a while, I go back and I listen. Not every once in a while. Probably every episode thus far. I've gone back and listened to make sure that I'm in the mic, to make sure I'm making sense, to make sure I don't want to retract anything. And when I was listening to her story, one of the things jumped out to me. She said that when she turned 15, about the age of 15 is when her relationship with her mom started going bad. And part of my whole talk on that was, it could be age related. When you get at that age, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, you think, da-da-da. So, and I don't think that I mentioned that because I was telling her to check herself because she was falling out with both her mom and their dad. And sometimes, it's just a tough age. And if it didn't start until you're 15, that means your mother's been right there kind of ride or die with you since then.
Yeah.
Or up to that point. But I was just thinking about that. Then we got a message from her that kind of...
Did it? I haven't read the message, so this is my first time. Have you read it?
I read it.
Okay. Is it okay to read?
Yeah, it's okay to read. Don't use her name.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Floyd and Cheyenne. It's blank. Please keep me anonymous. I recently wrote in to you guys, but I wanted to give a little more context because it might make a difference in your advice. You guys don't have to answer this on a podcast because I know it's a lot, but I wanted to give you the full feel of everything. Well, we're going to answer because we've been talking about it, and I feel like you deserve the full story. My mom became inconsistent with my siblings and I after her and my father separated and started seeing other people. She dated a man for a few months and moved him into our home. This caused a lot of tension between my mother and I because my siblings and I were not comfortable in our home, and she started to neglect us throughout the situation. In parentheses, leaving us home without food, and kept the house phone locked in her room so we wouldn't contact anyone. Her boyfriend had never met our father or her family, and she also distanced us from her family because they did not agree with her decision. A few months go by and I ask if I can stay with my father. She's upset and takes it out on all of us verbally, calling us names and saying she regretted having us. That is low. She then started to get mad and threatened to kick us out. And one day while my father was trying to drop me off and talk to her about us, she got mad at me for voicing my opinion and punched me in the face. That's even lower. Mm-hmm. My father called the cops and was giving emergency custody of us due to what had taken place. With my dad, I had helped out a lot at home since I'm the oldest of 4. I cooked dinner, cleaned the house, made doctor's appointments, and took my siblings to their appointments in addition to doing everything for myself. My father and I started to butt heads because of 2 things. 1, I told him I was overwhelmed with everything and needed more help from my sister, who was 10 months and 3 weeks older than me. Younger than me. Because she's lazy and always argues with me when I ask for help. I literally felt like I was there to serve everyone else and I was just a servant. The second thing was me going to school. I've always loved school, so that wasn't the problem. But at first my major was teaching. After working in an assisted living during COVID and just looking more into the field, I decided I wanted to switch my major to nursing. My father did not want me to be a nurse. I didn't know if it was because my mom is a nurse and they couldn't stand each other, or if it was because of how they were overworked and underpaid in some specialties. Also, in my last message, I spoke about abuse from him and I wanted to clarify. He called me out of my name, such as bitch, slut, and whore. And when I say physical, I've been beat with phone cords, belts, and he ripped my hair out of my scalp and his...
So the phone cords and belts, that's just a spanking. That's a spanking. A belt? I can't spank you. You out of line?
Anyway,
but when he got to the ripping the...
He's ripped my hair out of my scalp and has literally kicked me and stepped on me.
Yeah.
That's no longer a spanking.
No longer. No. Throw that fool in jail. I mean,
yes.
He needs to get a penalty.
Yes. So after a while, we ended up meeting someone and spending a lot of time with him. I still manage my responsibilities. I work full time. I'm in school and I keep my grades. My father doesn't like that I'm not at his beck and call like I used to be, which is why he took my car. I paid for the car, but he put it in his name to help me with the insurance since I'm young. I've tried to mend relationship with both my parents. My father doesn't want to speak to me at all and keeps my siblings from me, which hurts because I helped him raise them. And my mom wants to mend the relationship, but doesn't want to take accountability for her actions. I'm really struggling, not financially, but emotionally and mentally. I feel like the 2 people who are supposed to protect me and build me up have broken me more than anyone else.
Yeah. That was difficult for me to read at the end.
Oh, I don't like the end. I don't like the ending. The ending is tough. I mean, the whole thing is tough, to be honest, but that ending thing of... I'm really struggling, not financially, but emotionally and mentally. I feel like the 2 people who were supposed to protect me and build me up have broken me more than anyone else. Is tough. I have kids, and I would just hate if that's the relationship that I have with my kids.
Yeah, but you know what? And see, this is okay. So we heard this.
Yeah.
Now, what did we hear? The mama gets mad because she wants to make a move with her dad, and her mama punches her in the face. Not my ideal of a good mother.
No.
Okay. The dad, bitch, slut, whore. Did he say kicked her?
Yeah.
She kicked her and stepped over her or stepped on her?
Stepped on her,
Yeah,
ripped
not
her
a good.
hair out.
And see, that's why I say to you guys all the time, I say kids love their parents. And sometimes it takes years and years for them to realize that the parents are just not good parents.
Because she's still saying, I'm trying to mend the relationships with my parents.
Yeah.
Where it's okay, one has punched you, one has kicked you and called you out your name.
Fortunately for you and for me, we've never been in that situation. I've been mad at my people. I didn't like my people, but I can never say that my people abused me. Me and my parents, they were always, it was me being a knucklehead. Her situation is a little bit different. I mean, she's documenting, people, it's crazy. Yeah. But I understand, I've seen it before where people just love their parents to death. It's fixation, it's an idea of what a parent is. Now, in your case, young lady, you just don't have cream of the crop parents. I thought your dad was a good guy and buying you a car and helping you out. But, if he's taking the car away and you paid for it, well, he goes onto my piece of shit list. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. But you seem like you are strong. I mean, I'd be trying to find out how to get with my other siblings more so than trying to mend the relationship with the mom. Now, I'm not against you mending that relationship. I think that's a strong move. But I don't think you should have great expectations. You know, let her surprise you. I mean, you know, I would have very low expectations. And then if she surprises you and in a year, 2 years, you know, you guys are doing well, well, then that's all the better. You know, I mean, I have no problem with you shutting me up and shutting my this part of the conversation down, you know, saying, Mr. Floyd, you were wrong. We're doing great. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to be wrong. But I think, you know, for me, the reality check would be everybody doesn't have cream of the crop. Okay. I'm not going to say you got dealt a bad batch, but I'd say this. You seem to be strong and independent. You're going on, you're doing your thing. Last week you asked, I reread her question last week because one thing she's asked is, what would you suggest for someone like me who's in their 20s, still trying to, you know,
Figure
move
it
on?
out.
Yeah. And I think we said, you know, be accountable to yourself, you know, do the list and all that. One thing I didn't want you to do was buy a car again. But I don't know where you live. Because I just think that a car puts on undue financial burden. Because along with the car comes insurance, comes gas, comes some maintenance, all that. And if you can get around without having a car, if you can move closer to your job or your school, whatever the case may be, where you can use public transportation, maybe use Uber every once in a while, you know, yes, you're going to have less mobility. But along with that less mobility, you become a bigger square. Now you're handling your business more so. You have a car, now you're off to your girlfriend's house, off to your boyfriend's house, off to the party on Friday, whatever the case may be. That's just a kind of a small little nugget I thought about the other day. But, you know, that's not the greater part of the conversation. That's just a side note, you know. But she actually, on this, she said financially she's doing fine. But, you know, I would try to keep my finances as low as possible. I'd try to be as square as much as possible. And I wouldn't worry about those parents.
Yeah.
I'd keep on doing me. I mean, she sounds like she's doing well. She's got her good guy she's met. You know, the only thing that really seemed hurtful, or, you know, not harmful, hurtful, is that the father is keeping her siblings away from her. The father really became, you know, I thought the father was all right.
There was more to the story.
Yeah, but now then finally, you know, bitch, horse, slut.
Yeah.
Kicking him and down and stepping over and, you know,
yeah.
Now I can't get I can't see my siblings. Come on. Now, one thing about the mother. The mother's trying to come around, and I don't have any problem with you in any relationship. Don't look for her to be accountable. Okay? Now you're looking for something that it doesn't matter if she is personally accountable, if she admits it to you or not. It is what it is. What she did is how she was, and who she was is not the same person, hopefully, than she's trying to become. So whether she can ever come around to admitting it and apologizing for it, don't let it change what your perspective is. See, if I do something wrong and I apologize to you, that apology is really for me.
But what if she's not apologizing at all?
But the point of what I'm saying is, whether you hear the apology or not, it doesn't change your disposition. See, if I'm man enough to apologize, then I'm growing. Okay? Now, let's say I can't apologize. Well, then there's limited growth that I've shown. Okay?
You don't think that apology does anything for me?
It may do something for you. It may make you feel, okay, I can see where it does. I can see where it would okay. All right, I understand that. I you know, for me, I've never needed an apology, but that's just me.
I need apologies.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I understand that emotion. I understand that. For her, I wouldn't hang the hat on the apology, though. I mean, if it's more important to get an apology than it is to
but I don't even think she's saying apology. I think she's just saying accountability.
Accountability. You're right. That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying.
Yeah. I would say, I think it just goes back to my first answer that build your own community.
Yeah.
Build your own family.
Yeah. I really did like your answer. Go back and listen to her answer again.
I mean, I stand by it. I still think that, and I have so many people in my life to this day that have done it, who have literally wanted the cream of the crop parents, wanted the stability, wanted all of it, but this didn't have it, and they have built it for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And I admire it because it's not my situation, so I admire it. I do. I don't know where I would be without the family that I'm in or the parents that I have. So when I do see different situations, I admire my friends, my closest friends who have built their own families, who have built their own communities. I'm just like, wow, I love it. And I love that I'm a part of it.
Right.
So I think I stand by that. I think that, this is one where you're going to have to build your own. And God willing, your siblings see you trying and see that you're not cutting them out and that the father's just blocking that relationship, and that when they get older that you're able to mend that. And I stand by therapy. There's a lot of avenues where you can do therapy that are financially not off the charts. Like look up BetterHelp. You can go BetterHelp or Better Health. One of those two. I got to look it up. But you can go on there and find a therapist. I think that there's a lot of trauma in your message, and you don't want to bring that on. You don't want to carry that as you grow in life, because that will always bring you back down to a certain place. So I feel like in some form or fashion, you have to figure out how to release the trauma that happened between yourself, your dad, yourself, your mom, yourself and your siblings, to be able to elevate yourself and to be able to keep growing. You have to release the hurt and the pain and the trauma that has been done, so that you don't carry that into like a relationship with your partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or a workspace, or when you have kids, you don't bring some of those things in.
Yeah.
So I am happy that you followed up with us. You sent another message and we were able to get more context. I would say in the future, guys, like I love getting the DMs, good, bad, whatever. But it is better like when we have more to go by.
Yeah. And I could comfortably say, I'd like to retract my statement where I was really saying to you to check yourself, because at that age, it could be you. But with this additional information, I do think it's your parents. I think that you're doing fine.
You retract something like every other episode. Hey man, every other episode, you're like, I retract what I said. I like that accountability.
And let me just say one thing, because I called the dad a piece of shit, or put him in that category. And I'm not calling him a piece of shit. It's not an easy role. And I don't know what he as a man has had to go through, nor do I know what your mom as a woman has had to go through. And it's not always a easy story to tell or an easy life to live. So it sounded like they did the best that they could with you up until your age, about 14, 15. It sounded like everything was good through then. They fell apart, and the family dynamic fell apart. They did the best they could for as long as they could. Now you need to continue on to do the best that you can. Don't put a whole lot of blame on them. Give them the credit for what they get credit for. Now, don't put yourself in the position of being abused any longer. But I think you've learned that. You've moved on. You've got your independence going. We wish you the best.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Let us know when you're done with
Hopefully,
school.
your mom repairs herself. Your dad repairs himself. That's all we can do. All we can do is wish for the best of them. Hope that they do well. But glad to hear that you're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share this week with us?
No.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's continue the conversation next week.
I do have a shout out.
What's your shout out for?
I just want to wish happy birthday to Jay.
Who's Jay?
Jay turned 31.
Who's Jay? Who turned 31?
It's just
Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Jay, who turned 31.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody you knew.
Well, I just know her from here.
From Instagram?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
seems
Jay.
like a really nice person, nice family.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Let us know what we should talk about next week. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. But then, this is what I wanted to say. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay, if you listen to my other podcast on Think Loud Crew, we just did this whole month. We're doing this whole series about
You used to have me on Think Loud Crew every once in a while.
But now you're here.
Oh, okay.
You can come back. Okay, but we're doing this whole series about setting intentions. Okay, so we use this new app thing where you could I could post a link and then you can press record and then you could set your intentions. But it's not just setting intentions. You can record anything. It's just answering the question that was given. So remember when we were trying to figure out what platform we can use to not go live, but hear your live voice.
Yeah.
I'm going to look into this platform this week, post a link by the time we record our next episode so that you guys are able to vocally send in what you would DM us normally. So like normally someone would DM us their story. Now they have 5 minutes on this thing to explain. So instead of having to write it all out, you can just press record and send it to us.
Right. Okay.
So look out for that link. I'm going to post it on our page this week. My dad will post it on his. I'll post it on mine. I'll post it on for my Snapchat family. And take advantage of this. We just did it for Think Loud Crew today with setting intentions. And I think we got over like 80 people who set their intentions. And everyone I listened to was amazing. Just everybody was just like, I want to be aligned spiritually. I want to give more grace. I want to get more grace. Like everything that I heard was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to speak positivity to myself and not my negative thoughts. I'm like, damn, I have negative thoughts. Like everything I heard just sounded so good. So I really want to use this same platform.
Can we use it one day to have everybody define what they mean by love?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
That's great. Okay.
What does love mean to you?
Okay, so that'll be our first question. Our first question on this link, after I figure out how to work it, is going to be, what does love mean to you? So look out for that link within the next few days because we're going to get it up.
So when you say, I love you.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Now, I used to always say,
I used to have to write letters.
My kids used to say that. So what does that mean? What does that?
Write it down. He'd be like, go write down what that means to you. I'm like,
what does that mean?
Come on, bro. Okay, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Unfiltered Kitchen. If you like us, please go on to where you get your podcast and leave us a review. Right now, we have a few reviews and a few ratings. I need to get more ratings on the podcast platform. So please go there. It's like the purple
So when
app.
somebody listens to the podcast, they can do a review?
We have reviews. Yeah, you haven't read them?
I have not seen a review. Where do I go to see this?
I'll show you the reviews. It's on the podcast app. People can leave comments on YouTube, Instagram, and stuff.
That's all I ever saw.
But there's an actual app where you get your podcast from, and we have stars. You can 5-star, you can 1-star it. There's reviews. You got to read the reviews.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Right now, we have a few hit or miss reviews, so please go leave us some good reviews. Go give us 4 or 5 stars. Don't
give us 4.
Okay, I don't remember how many stars there are. I just can't. Maybe there's 5. Give us 5 stars, and please do that because...
Well, can you tell them where to go? Where do they go?
It's literally called podcast. Like on your app store, it's podcast. You just type in our name and then it comes up. Look, go to your app store. There's our podcast right here. Here we are. We got a 4.8. There's 40 people who have voted on us or left.
Oh, can
you give yourself stars? Look, you can read them.
Can I comment back to them? Say thank you or anything?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Some of them actually. Okay, some are really good. There was only one that they were like...
So I need to read them to understand what people like, what they don't like.
Yeah. I mean, ours are good. The only one that we got a negative review on is when you did it with Kyle.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
Well, it was kind of what you said too, though.
Did she talked to me.
She talks over you. But that's just Kyle.
Yeah,
like,
she talks me out.
No offense, but she does the same thing on Think Loud Crew.
Do you know somebody once said that I cut her off?
No.
I cut her off. It's like, okay.
No. If you're filming with Kyle, just know you gotta
get your space in.
You gotta get it in.
You got the elbow out of there.
Yes.
All right, guys.
But go leave us a review, please, because other people who signed us for our podcast, they look at this type of stuff. We want to keep this going. We need these things to keep going. So thank you guys, as always.
Thank you. I'll be pressing for these reviews next week or so. Thanks, guys.